You should always get on your ATV from the left-hand side. Check that the parking brake is on, and holding the handlebar, put your left foot on the footrest and step over the machine. It is important that you can identify, understand and operate all the controls on your ATV. Again, you should refer to your manual for specific information about your machine, but you should be able to locate and operate the parking brake, your front brake, rear brake, either foot or hand operated, the fuel tap and choke if you have one, locate the starter, whether it's kick, electric or pull, the throttle, the clutch on a manual ATV and how to change gear and select the range, and lastly, make sure you know the position of the engine stop switch and how to turn off the ignition. You should remove the key and get off the machine in the same way that you got on, to the left. ATV riding is very different to driving a car or riding a motorcycle. Your stability and safety depends on you being able to shift your weight at the right times and in the correct way. The correct straight line riding position will help you to easily operate the controls and react more quickly when you need to shift your body weight. When making gradual turns, you should lean your upper body to the inside of the turn, concentrating your weight on the outer footrest to allow the inner wheel to slip more easily. When making tighter turns, you should shift your weight by coming off the seat, keeping your feet on the footrests. When climbing or descending hills, you should always shift your weight to the uphill side, adjusting the amount depending on the gradient. You should lean forwards or backwards for gradual hills, and when the incline is steeper, place your weight over the handlebars or over the back of the seat by standing on the footrests. Riding properly means moving your body weight around quite extensively, but always remain in good reach of the controls so that you can use them easily. You must practice these maneuvers while stationary so you understand your position limits in order to keep within safe reach of the controls. You should prepare to start your ATV using the same routine every time. Firstly, set the parking brake. Next, turn the fuel and ignition on. Then make sure the ATV is in neutral. Check that the engine stop switch is in run or start. And remember to use your choke if the engine is cold. Close the choke as the engine warms. Remember to use this routine every time you prepare to start your machine. When you understand how your machine works, you can start to master the basic riding techniques. It's best to find a large, flat, open space to practice in, free of any obstacles or hazards. Before moving off, check that you're in the correct riding position. Apply the rear brake and select first gear. Release the parking brake and gently squeeze the throttle. If you have a manual clutch, release it slowly. If the clutch engages too quickly, the machine will lurch forwards. Always release the throttle when changing gear to prevent the front wheels from lifting. Learn to use the sound of your engine to help you change gear smoothly and at the right time. Your stopping technique will depend on your ATV's braking system and the terrain you are riding on. Release the throttle and change down a gear so the engine slows you down. Ensuring that your thumb is clear of the throttle, apply both brakes equally. Remember to pull the clutch in if you're riding a manual machine. When stationary, apply the parking brake. Practice turning at low speeds until you feel more confident about your abilities, your knowledge of your ATV and how it handles. Slow down as you approach the turn by braking and changing down a gear. Move your body weight forward and to the inside of the turn you are making. Turn the handlebars while looking in the direction you are heading, keeping your head and eyes level. And lean into the turn, concentrating your weight on the outer footrest to allow the inner wheel to slip more easily. As your confidence increases, you can attempt tighter turns. For these, you need to brake before you start turning and shift your weight more quickly. Remember to always ride within the limits of your ability. Never attempt maneuvers that you don't feel confident with. You must be able to stop your ATV quickly or swerve to avoid unexpected hazards when out riding, so it's a good idea to practice this too. To stop your ATV quickly, keep your head and eyes up, apply the brakes firmly without skidding, and stop in a straight line. To swerve round a hazard, keep your eyes up and shift your weight to the inside of the turn. Never brake when swerving, and keep your feet firmly on the footrests to stop the ATV tipping over. There may be times when obstacles are unavoidable and you need to go over them rather than around them. If possible, you should approach them at a 90-degree angle and slow down but maintain momentum. Stand on the footrests with your knees and elbows bent. Just before the front wheels reach the obstacle, give a short burst on the throttle. Lean forward and release the throttle as the front wheels clear it. If you think that only one wheel will mount the obstacle, simply use the momentum of your ATV to get over, without using extra throttle. You should never attempt to lift the handlebars. You will doubtless encounter hills wherever you ride, and you should master the technique for safely going up, down and across them before setting out. Some hills will be too steep for your abilities, and some may be too steep for your ATV. If the hill looks too steep, it probably is and shouldn't be attempted. The key to good hill riding is to always keep your weight uphill. When climbing a hill, select a low gear and position yourself with your weight forwards. In order to make a turn on a hill, you need to shift your body weight to the uphill side. As you descend, keep looking ahead. Shift your weight to the rear and control your speed using the engine and gradual braking. When climbing steeper hills, you should stand on the footrests and lean forwards with your torso over the front wheels. If you're climbing a longer hill, you may need to change down to a lower gear. You can also go across hills, but should not attempt this on rough, loose or slippery surfaces. Practice by going up the hill and before reaching the top, turn to the left or right to cross it. Lean your upper body to the uphill side, keeping both feet firmly on the footrests. Avoid accelerating or slowing down quickly, and if you feel your ATV is tipping, turn the front wheels down the hill or stop and dismount. When descending a steeper hill, shift your weight to the rear of the ATV while standing on the footrests, again using gradual braking. You should practice all the maneuvers you've just seen and increase the difficulty and speed as your competence increases. Always ride knowing your abilities and understanding the capabilities of your ATV.